Daniel Defoe, Robinson Crusoe, Part 141. He told me there was no danger, no canoes ever lost, but that after a little way out to sea there was a current and wind always one way in the morning, the other in the afternoon. This I understood to be no more than the sets of the tide as going out or comforting in, but I afterwards understood it was occasioned by the great draught and reflux of the mighty river Orinoco, in the mouth of Gulf of which river, as I found afterwards, our island lay, and that this land, which I perceived to be west and new west, was the great island Trinidad, on the north point of the mouth of the river. I asked Friday 1,000 questions about the country, the inhabitants, the sea, the coast, and what nations were near. He told me all he knew with the greatest openness imaginable. I asked him the names of the several nations of his sort of people, but could get no other name than Caribs, from whence I easily understood that these were the Caribbees, which our maps place on the part of America which reaches from the mouth of the river Orinoco to Guinea and onwards to St. Martha. He told me that up a great way beyond the moon, that was beyond the setting of the moon, which must be west from their country, there dwelt white-bearded men like me, and pointed to my great whiskers, which I mentioned before, and that they had killed much men. That was his word, by all which I understood him meant the Spaniards, whose cruelties in America had been spread over the whole country and were remembered by all the nations from father to son. I inquired if he could tell me how I might go from this island and get among those white men. He told me, yes, yes, you may go in 2 canoe. I could not understand what he meant or make him describe to me what he meant by 2 canoe, till at last with great difficulty I found he meant it must be in a large boat, as big as 2 canoes. This part of Friday's discourse I began to relish very well, and from this time I entertained some hopes that one time or other I might find an opportunity to make my escape from this place, and that this poor savage might be a means to help me. During the long time that Friday had now been with me, and that he began to speak to me and understand me, I was not wanting to lay a foundation of religious knowledge in his mind. Particularly, I asked him one time who made him. The creature did not understand me at all, but thought I had asked who was his father, but I took it up by another handle, and asked him who made the sea, and the ground we walked on, and the hills and woods. He told me it was one Benamaki that lived beyond all. He could describe nothing of this great person, but that he was very old, much older, he said, than the sea or land, than the moon or the stars. I asked him then if this old person had made all things, why didn't all things worship him? He looked very grave, and with a perfect look of innocence said all things say "oh" to him. I asked him if the people who died in his country went away anywhere. He said yes, they all went to Benamaki. Then I asked him whether whose they eat up went thither too. He said yes. From these things I began to instruct him in the knowledge of the true God.